Hello, my name is Bear, and this time I present you a review of The Way of Wrath, Baldur's Gate inspired indie game that has been recently released on Steam as a demo. I was contacted by their PR team member, so it is fair to say that they were confident about the outcome. But when I started the demo, I realized that The Way of Wrath is full of bugs. And by saying this, I mean that it was filled to the brim with various more or less game-breaking disasters, and there is no save game option in the current version, so every time I got stuck in one way or another, I had to play the game again. It was literal Way of Wrath for me. I am a very patient man. I played the game 5 times, so I could say something about the story or dialogues or about anything else that isn't a bug. But alas, that was mission impossible. So I waited 2 weeks. I gave the developers time to fix everything that is wrong, because my channel is filled with positivity and not with angry reviews. So after 2 weeks, I ran the game again, created my character, and pressed the start button. I did it again and again, but nothing happened. I tried every trick in my trick bag to unstuck the start button, but I failed. After 2 weeks of bug fixing, game decided to not load at all. At this point, there is only one thing I would want to say to the developers.
You are your own worst enemy.
Well, many of us would have surrendered by now, or would have made a shortest review possible, but not me. We in Eastern Europe never surrender. If you surrender here, you die from hunger and cold, or from moonshine you buy from shady dealer, because cheapest vodka is very expensive and not everyone can afford such a luxury. So we are tough here. So I deleted the game, installed it again, nothing changed, start button was still dead. So, next time I just gave up on creating my character and pressed start with generic one, and voila, game launched!
Great success.
So, 2 minutes into this video, let me finally talk about gameplay. You can instantly feel that this is an indie game without any desires to look like something else. Graphics are simple, but the game also has a style, so it is different from other games just copying Baldur's Gate or Pillars of Eternity looks, and that is a good thing. Game starts with 10-minute dialogue, so you instantly realize that fighting here is not as important as you hoped. Words over swords is the way of wrath, ha, pun intended. So, but dialogues are okay, they are simple without any deep plots or something, but you actually expect from the bunch of Vikings that they are not very smart word-wielding orators, and the speech they provide is just okay, it clicks just fine. Although I was gobsmacked by my persuasion skills that must be at least 100 when I catched one kid of the enemy force unarmed and asked him if he can open the gates for my army to enter his fort, and he was like,
"Yeah, just please don't kill me."
So I let him go. He went to his own soldiers where I had no power over him, and instead of screaming and pointing at us, he actually opened the gates for my fellows. He literally became a traitor basically for no reason at all. For me, as a writer, logic is extremely important. I'm like a Spock from Star Trek, so I was deeply triggered by this scene. Wario's WTF letters started to float in my head, but I quickly forgot the scene because fighting began. As I mentioned before, I played the game 2 weeks ago, and fighting part was something you couldn't get through because of stuck characters, immortal enemies, or by never getting your turn back from adversaries. So now I was expecting huge change. And you know what? Combat is flawless now! Developers really took their time and made their game better. Well, it doesn't start, but if you manage to somehow get in the gameplay part, it is quite enjoyable now. I like that many enemies die from one swing, just like in a real life. You know, when huge barbarian Viking slashes your neck with oversized sword, you probably just die silently instead of fighting back. So that is implemented, and I like that very much. You can shoot enemies or bash them in melee. Later you can probably even use some spells, because game is not realistic, there are magic available, at least in the cutscenes. So when you clear the fort, you can start to fix it. Rebuild the forge, an example, or fix this. This seems totally safe. It is fine monument of barbarian ingenuity, of their engineering and architecture. What wrong could happen if you run on a bridge like this? By the way, you can't jump down, I tried. And if I understood correctly, this fort will be your home, the base from which you will go to dangerous missions to do your daily
raping and pillaging.
So, you have the fort, you have your missions. What else? One thing catched my eye. You can turn on nude body mode. Well, because of a start button glitch that prevented me to take female character, I can take off clothes only from my dude and check if he has a peepee. And he has. Quite long and dingly-dongy. Sadly, I cannot show it because, you know,
Instant demonetization.
just play as female if you can. Don't make my mistakes. Or of course, if you like dudes and dingly-dongly dicks, just play as I did and you won't be disappointed. And one last thing. Why the f you have this resolution available? Like, really? Why is that even implemented? To run it on a calculator? So, what do I think about the game after a demo? How many vodkas I shall give it? I think that it has potential, and if developers have enough of money and time, it can become a very decent game. With all the bugs fixed, cameras improved, inventory improved, dialogues improved, glitches removed, the game can reach probably 7 vodkas out of 10. Just not now, give it a few months. Put it into a wishlist and wait for full release. You never know, it may surprise you after all. Thank you for your time. Keep in mind that you can support me on Patreon or directly by buying some cool t-shirts from my shop. Check it out, you will find all the links in the description. Have a nice day and I'll see you next time. Bye.